Hey, everybody. Coach Dawn Shannon here for this week's Lunch Bites session. How is everyone today? Y'all, we took a day off last week. We were attending a conference and it was truly amazing. So, got a lot of great nuggets from that conference and a lot of great connections, meeting new friends and some that we've known socially, like on social media, but haven't met yet. Got to meet them. It was super exciting. So just really happy to have that time. So thank y'all for allowing us to have the time off last week. But this week coming to you live, and I think Coach LaDondra is going to join us in a few minutes, but I wanted to go ahead and get started. We have a busy day today, y'all. We are beginning our Generational Wealth Codes method Accelerator today, and we're super excited about that. So want to get on here and honor everyone's time so we can get to that because we start straight up at 1 o'clock today. So, but today's training is going to be good. And if you haven't, just backtracking a little bit, if you have not yet come into the Accelerator program, there's still time. So we've got the links out for you on our social media platforms. You can go to Coach LaDondra's page, LaDondra Hervey, and or if you're inside our We Doing Business God's Way Facebook group, there's links in there as well, and we'll pop one down here as we go along. So definitely want to get into that, y'all. This is going to be the next 90 days of in-depth training around your business, helping you to really dive into your brand, your your brand story, which we're going to talk about a little bit today, helping you to monetize your gifts. Coach LaDondra has really gone in about helping to get this training together to talk to you specifically to help you up level in clarity, up level in mindset, up level in your monetization of your gifts. I just said that weird, but y'all, it's going to be so good. So if you're in that place still of stuck, of overwhelm, of people pleasing, of perfectionism, whatever it is that has prevented you from getting to that next level. Maybe you've hit that 6-figure mark already and you've just kind of plateaued and you're like, I'm not quite sure how to get over this hump, right? And get to that next level. That's what we're going to be helping you do inside this Accelerator program. So ladies, trust me when I say it is going to be massive. It is going to be a game changer. It is going to be transformational for you personally and your business. So I want to encourage you to hop in today. It is not too late to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start today with our brand story training. So it kind of leads right into day 1 of the Accelerator. So I'm not going to give it all away, but definitely going to hop in and answer some of the questions. So our project manager, Amber, she popped in what we're going to be talking about today, and she had 5 questions to ask yourself. And I'll just kind of run through those questions and then come back and kind of share my takeaway from being on this team and personally. But when you talk about your brand story, it's really about who are you, right? So her first question is, who are you authentically? And then I'll just run down the questions real quick. Why are you so passionate about what you do? Who are you doing it for? What is your method? And what will your audience gain from working with you? So those are some things that when you're looking at your branding for your business, whether you are the name and face of your brand or you have a company name and that is the brand of your business, it doesn't matter one way or the other, right? You want to be sure that you're telling the story that resonates with who you are, what your values are for the brand and for your business, and making sure that that's resonating with the people that you're wanting to talk to, right? So so who are you authentically? Well, let me tell you, I've experienced this myself and I've seen it in Coach LaDondra as well. You know, your brand, the physical looking of your brand, the aesthetics of your brand, even some of the wording may change over the years. So if you're just getting started and you're kind of muddling around with what does my brand look like? What is the name of my brand? Should my name be the brand of the business? Should I have a company name of the business, and it's different for everyone. There's pros and cons going both ways, right? But even though that may change, your colors may change, all of that, when you pay attention, when you're being authentic to who you are, your messaging, who you are, what you stand for will not change. Okay. So, as the marketing implementer here at Team LaDondra Hervey, I go back and I listen to some of Coach LaDondra's early days of when she was doing her business. And that is under the umbrella name, the I'm Possible Coaching, which that's still the behind the scenes of the business before she switched over to ladondrahervey.com. But the messaging was the same. It was all about breaking generational chains of things that are holding you back and bringing in generational wealth. So, you guys, it's super important to really go back, like even on your own stuff. If you've been putting out content, if you've been putting out live, going live on social media, if you've been putting out blog posts, whatever it is that you've been creating, your content, right? Go back and look to see what you've created over the years and see if there's an underlying theme that just kind of weaves through and it's the same all the way through. And that, my friend, is your brand story. That is who you are authentically. That is how you show up in the world and the message that you give to others in the world. And it really is what and who you stand for. And so it's really neat when you go back and you look at that stuff from over a period of time and you see that theme woven in. And it's been the same throughout for our fearless leader, Coach LaDondra, which welcome, sis. Glad you could join us. But yeah, that's when you think about who you are authentically, look back at some of the things that you've been doing. Look back and really look at that underlying theme that is the same, that's woven through every one of your blog posts, every one of your lives, every one of your posts, your written post, and just see how that resonates for you and your people that you serve, and really dive into that commonality, that common thread throughout your history of being a brand, and really hone in on that, because that's who you are authentically at your core. So, welcome, Coach. What say
Hey,
you today?
I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I will let you keep keeping at it. I mean, the only thing that I will add, and hey, everybody, happy Thursday. All of the wonderful things, like Coach Don said, I have been in the background working on the Generational Wealth Codes Accelerator. And I'm very excited about that because as we are talking about what's the story, what comes to my mind is that what is the story? What were you created to do? What were you created? What were you fashioned to do here on this earth? Whatever that is, it defines and dictates the story that you will share and that with your audience and the impact that it will make, because there's something that you've been given a territory that you've been given divine influence over, and whatever that territory is, and whoever those people that you've been called to serve, your story is going to resonate with them. And many times we try to diminish our story because we think that, oh well, other people haven't been through what I've been through. That's great. If those other people aren't your people, that's almost like a qualifier. You get to use your story as a qualifier to connect with the people that you have been destined to serve. And so when you really look at that, you want to make sure that you are very clear on who is your audience and what is the story that you are being called to share, because there is value in that story. When people can see themselves in you, they can see themselves in your story, then they're more apt to work with you. A lot of times we want to leave those parts out because it's like, I'm afraid of being judged. Well, your ideal audience may be feeling that exact same thing, and that's the breakthrough that they need, is for you to show up and be the one to be the voice to that particular issue so they too can overcome. And so a lot of times we get caught up on the aesthetics of things, like, do I have a fancy logo? Do I have, the right colors and the right fonts? That's not necessarily the thing that's going to draw your audience to you. It's going to be the story. Jesus told stories. He told stories in order for us to connect with the message that he had. He always was talking about the kingdom of heaven, but the kingdom of heaven is, the message is so great, it's so wide, it's so vast, and his wisdom, his knowledge, and his intellect is just beyond us. And so he had to speak through stories. That's exactly what happens for you. When you speak through stories, you're able to communicate the value that you have to offer, the impact that you have been sent here on earth to create. And it's just so much more to it. But I'll just say this last thing is that it's why it's so important for you to be authentic. Because if you're not being authentic in your story, people can't connect with you. They won't be able to see themselves in what it is that you have to offer. Number one, but two, you won't be able to show up and truly be you, fully express out in the world. And you'll try to fake it to make it, and really people can read through that. Let's just get that story out there. Let's faith it and continue to be fully expressed out in the marketplace and allow people to see our true selves, the true value that we bring to the table. There's a statistic out there that it talked about that people would prefer to buy from brands that are authentic, brands that have an authentic mission, versus just brands that are just a high level brands that's making massive amounts of money. So that has a lot to say for you as a small business owner. You have the opportunity to show up and be fully expressed using your story as that personal brand, and allow people to connect and resonate with it, with what it is that you've been given to create in the marketplace, in the world, all of the things. So, Coach Don, you should have told me. You shouldn't have given me permission to talk. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I am on mute. Thank you. No, it's all good, because you know what? People need to see the little glimpses of what they're going to get when they join us inside the accelerator. Because when you go in, Coach Ladondra, you go in deep, and it's really great, because that's your authenticity shining through, and we love it. We love it. So, all right, I'm going to segue right on into that number 2 question, and it's, why are you so passionate about what you do? Ladies, when you have a purpose in your life, in your business, which we all do, we all have a purpose, we all have a plan. Stepping into that purpose, stepping into that plan gives you that passion, because you know that when you get to that place, when you are allowing yourself to open your eyes and see God's purpose and plans for you, then you're like, wow. And it's because you've been through something on the other side, right? You've been through something before. Now you're on the other side of it, and you have a passion for helping those who are still in that place that you were, whether it's a year ago, 5 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. You have a passion for helping those people get to where you are now, and help them get there in much shorter amount of time than when it took you. And that's what fuels you. That's where your passion comes from. Knowing that you've got the answer to where they're at right now in that stuck place, right? Because you've been there and you know it, and you're like, oh my gosh, if they could just see what I see now on the other side of it. And that passion just burns inside of you to really reach back and grab hold of those people. And you're like, look, sis, I know where you're at. I've been there. Come with me. I want to walk with you on this journey and help you get to the other side, because there's so much waiting for you on the other side, so much joy and freedom and all the things. And so you just burn with passion to help them go from where they are to where you are, right? And there's so many times that we hear women, well, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. But you're further along than they are, right? You're further along than they are. So you have that knowledge and wisdom to get them even a step further. When you're in the fire, if you take one step out, that's a big step, right? So having that passion to help them get out of the fire is burning within you. It's time to step up and really dive into that passion and not be afraid anymore, thinking that you have to be so much further along. You don't. You don't. You just have to feel that passion and that fire to help those get to one step further, away from where they are into where they're going to be, because you can see the path because you've walked that path. So I love that purpose and passion that is inside of you, and really honing in on receiving that and stepping into that. What are your thoughts on that, Coach Ladondra?
Yeah, I think that's so on point. And just for those of you who are looking for what your passion is, I would say that there's two things. Number one, it's either found in you love what God loves or you hate what God hates.
Mm,
And there's something that's going to be that irritation to you that's like, oh my gosh, like I hate seeing people that are struggling with weight loss. That, I mean, that's just a simple example, but like I hate it with a passion. You hear
mm,
people say that kind of those kind of words. I hate it with a passion. Um, that's where you are finding that sense of your passion, because anything in overindulgence, that's in the Bible, that's not godly. And so you're hating what God hates, and so
mm,
it's something on the inside of you that's drawing you to that. And so you have to honor that and then be true to that. But then you love what God loves, and so it may be that you have a love for the widows, the orphans, whatever that is, a love for business, a love for developing people, empowering people. You love what God loves. So you start to pay attention to those things. One thing that I'm reminding of is that we were talking to one of our clients yesterday, and she was wanting to write her book. She's in the beginning stages of writing her books, and as we were talking to her, you could hear her passion come through as Coach Don was talking to her. We were talking to her about her ideal audience and who the book would serve, and we found that that book would serve a person, a woman, or a male who was in the years, had the story that she had and that she had triumphed over, and that story, she would use that story as a vehicle to help them to enter into the place where she stands right now. And when she was going, we were talking that through, then she got emotional. And that emotion was just an emotion of overflowing joy and passion, that I get to use what God has given me. I get to use my experiences to bless someone else, to get
mm,
from this side to the other side of their story. And so when we think about our story, we start to realize, and we marry that with our passions, then we realize that there's someone else on the other side who's waiting for what we have, the answers and the
mm,
solutions that we have lying on the inside of us. And it's our responsibility to get that message out to the world, and not to diminish or devalue. When I say diminish and devalue, what I'm meaning is, I'm going to go back to what Coach Don was talking about. And when we say, oh, I'm not quite there yet, do you think that Joseph was quite there yet when he gave counsel to the king? He had never ran a kingdom. He had never done any of the things. Do you think Daniel had any of that? Had he been there before? He hadn't. But what he did have is he had proximity. He had the proximity to the power of the Holy Spirit, who gives us the wisdom to be able to speak directly to the problems that our people are having. And so the moment that you start to diminish and devalue and feel like an imposter, I want you to be reminded
mm,
that those two examples, because David, Daniel, and all the rest of them could have felt like an imposter. I've never ran a kingdom, but yet I'm offering counsel to a king. Yes, because you've received counsel from the king, the ultimate wisdom that you need to impart into somebody else. And so that is when you're in your divine lane and you're in that place where you're in your passion, place or your passion zone, then you will start to find out that you have been given access or authority to divine wisdom to help other people to break through the problems that they are having in their life and in their business. So I just wanted to kind of give you that breakdown. That was quite a bit of things. If you really listen to what I said, there's a lot of gold nuggets in there, because many of you are struggling and not getting into your next level because you're feeling like an imposter, or you're diminishing and devaluing what you hate and saying, oh well, I shouldn't feel like that. Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you? If it's in alignment with the word of God and it's like a righteous anger, then that's something that maybe you've been called to do. I hated seeing all of the witchcraft and all of the tarot cards and all of the craziness that was going on in the industry. I hated it with a passion. But guess what? I was called to be the answer to that. The same is true to you. You are being called. You're that hate, that righteous anger is wooing you into your next level. It's wooing you into the zone where you're supposed to be serving people at the highest level.
Yeah. Look, yes, ma'am. Was that it? Was that the cutoff? I was looking down. I was looking to see who else joining us. So that's when I'm looking down, y'all. I'm looking at my phone on Facebook. So I want to just give a shout out to the ladies that are here today. So hey, Amber. Hey, Melinda. Hey, Jalandre. Hey, Felicia. Good to see you. Leah, Sheldra. Good to see you. Y'all, we're so excited that you're here and getting the wisdom that we are pouring out today. And like like it was put in the post, like this is just the beginning. Like this is just the tip of the iceberg that you're going to get when you join us in the Accelerator program that starts today. So you guys, if you're still, on the fence about that, if you're still struggling with that imposter syndrome, if you're still struggling with who am I, I'm not quite there yet, or I don't know how to monetize my gifts and all of those things, like you have gifts, you have God-given gifts, and they are ready to be presented to the world, but you don't have to do it for free, right? There's so many people that think, oh, I just have to I have a passion for this, I love this, or I hate this, and I'm going to be the answer to it, but I don't know how to monetize that. I think I'm just serving God. We can, as Christian women operating kingdom enterprises, make money too. There's nothing in the Bible that says that God wants you to be poor. That's just not true. So that's one of the things that I hate. Is I hate that lie that is put out there that you can't have a successful business as a Christian entrepreneur. It's just not true. But I'm not going to get on my soapbox about that today. But anyway, so some of the things that Coach Ladondra just said kind of answers the third question: is who are you doing it for? And, you said that beautifully, Coach. It's like, you're walking alongside that person because you've been where they are. And when our client got emotional about that, it was a beautiful thing to see, because she realized like she is on the other side of that. And she may not be exactly where she wants to be, but who is? I don't think any of us are where we're 100% supposed to be until we're in heaven, right? So we're always growing, learning, doing, the very best we can here on earth, right? But on earth as it is in heaven. So we do our best, and walking alongside that person that you can help. Just think of all the people that are out there waiting for you to step up, step out of hiding, step out of your comfort zone, step out of the imposter syndrome, and know that you are in the kingdom. You have been blessed by the King. He has put this in your spirit for a reason. And these people are just waiting for you to show up. They're just waiting for you to show up and say, I'm here. And I'm on the other side. Do you want to know how I got here? They'll be like, yes, please, because I want to get there too. Okay, well, I charge for that. Great. What do you charge? Because here it is. I need what you have and I'm ready. So that's the beauty of that, is, knowing who you're serving, and they know it too. When you start lining up your brand story, your wording, your story, your message, think about Jesus. right? He just said, hey, come follow me. And his disciples did. Then they went and they told stories throughout the land. And the people that followed grew and grew and grew because he knew what his mission was, what his purpose was. He didn't shy away from it. And he kept telling the parables, the stories that would resonate with the people so that his numbers kept growing. That's the same way it is for us in business, ladies. Once you hone in on that purpose and passion that God has for you and you start speaking it to the world, they will listen. The people who are meant to hear you and the way you speak about it, they will listen, they will hear you, they will come, and it'll just expand and grow. Okay. So what is your unique method? Okay, I just gave you the unique part. It was, what is your method? Your method is unique to you. So it really is honing in. And that's why this accelerator program is so good, because we're going to help you to hone in on what that method is for you, right? We don't come at it from a cookie cutter, like, okay, here's everybody, just follow this method and you're good, right? No, it's what resonates with you and your audience. And we help you create that structure, knowing that this is for you. This is for you. We have clients that, have started out writing a book. We have clients that, started out coaching and now they're podcasting. We've had people start out writing a book, but now they're speaking on stages, right? We've had people start out doing in-person work with their clients to being virtual, where they can reach many and not be taken away from their families for so many hours, right? For having to drive to their clients, right? They're like, I can do this online in an industry that you wouldn't think could be done online. Like, really? You can do that virtually? Yes, we can do that virtually. So you guys, your method is unique to you. It's as unique as your fingerprint, right? Because even if someone else is doing the same thing you are on the same platform, they're not doing it like you. They're not going to show up like you show up. They're not going to speak like you speak. They're not going to resonate with the people who are waiting to hear your voice and to see what you are doing, that are going to resonate with you. So everyone's method is a little bit different. Even if it looks the same from the outside, it's not, because you are unique. Coach LaDondra?
Yeah, that's all super, super great. And those are some powerful stories that you shared, Coach Don, all which are true. And one thing that I will say, that when it comes around your method, it's about creating a level of clarity. So if you've been in a place to where you're feeling like, hey, I'm not getting any traction in my business, I feel like I'm spinning my wheels, I'm consistently saying what I do, but people are not understanding what it is that I do, or they are, it's like, oh, they're not taking me seriously. What happens is when you have your signature method or system, or process, whatever that looks like for you, then what you start to do is you start to establish authority in the marketplace that says that, hey, I have the package solution that's going to help you to get from point A to point Z of whatever problem that you're having. And one thing about this, when we're talking about integrating this into your story, the one of the key points is that you want to always be clear enough to have a central message. As Coach Dawn said, when she went back and listened to all of the things, the past content that I've done, it's always been centered around creating generational wealth, breaking generational cycles, all of the things. I may have said it in different ways, but I've always been pointed towards that particular message. And the thing about that is that now I have a signature method called Generational Wealth Codes Method. And it is a solution that walks you from point A to point Z to accelerate your results into the next level with biblically based principles that actually are going to give you fulfillment, freedom, and financial prosperity. And the really cool part about that is that, what good is it for you to have success and sacrifice your whole soul to get there? Like, when you really have a signature, a framework, what happens is you don't feel like you're having to sacrifice parts of yourself to try to earn the money or try to do the things and please the people and all. You're just being authentically you through your signature method, through your signature process, and you're communicating it in a way to where it really showcases the value of what you have to offer. And what the Lord was just sharing with me about the generational wealth codes method is that it is an extraction method. Like it's a framework that helps you to extract your own greatness. And many of us are struggling to figure out who am I, and what is it that I have to offer that is unique to me. And so when you walk through our proven framework, what happens is you start to realize your own greatness, and you start to understand how to put that into a signature method to where you become the go-to industry expert that is sought out for that thing, where you're not having to push so hard. You're literally positioned as a lighthouse in your industry, and people are starting to gravitate to you for what it is that you have to offer, because you've been so focused, you've been so clear, and you've extracted the gifts that God has given you, and now you've created and monetized them into a business and established credibility in the marketplace. So now it makes it hard for people not to want to work with you. That's the power of having your signature method. You have packaged knowledge. So many of you have so many ideas, and you have so much wisdom and all of that, but it's not packaged. And you even find it hard trying to communicate all the things. So when somebody say, "What do you do?" You're like, "Well, I don't know. I do so many things." But if you had that into a signature method, then it would be so clear, and you would say, "I do this like this through this XYZ method, would love to work with you." And it would be easy, just roll off your tongue, and you would have that confidence and to stand in your area of influence and to communicate the value that you have to offer. That's the type of things that we help those service-based entrepreneurs do. We help you to get highly specialized so that you're referable, and people are sending other people to you, but then you're attractive, you're that lighthouse in your industry, and you're not having to try to push and struggle and strive and sacrifice your soul and do all these things. It's like, I'm doing the right thing, and people are coming to me for the right thing, and I'm getting paid doing what I love.
Yes. As you were talking about that, it reminded me of two of our clients that, so one came to us, had a beautiful website, had so many offerings, right? And we're like, how do they know what to pick, right? Because, a confused mind doesn't buy. And we tweaked her messaging and got her really clear about what she was offering, what she wanted to offer, what was her expertise, right? She changed nothing on her website, y'all. Nothing, not one thing. People started coming to her. They were just flowing to her, like, just because her story that she was telling people got clear out of her mouth, right? Got clear. And so this is all leading into the number 5 question. What will your audience gain from working with you? So what will your audience gain from working with you? This is it, right? Clarity, freedom, financial overflow, all the things that Coach LaDondra just said. And when you think about that, I have a bunch of things listed here on my notes. So think about if you've ever done the wheel of life exercise. Okay, we have a wheel of business. Think about that wheel, and each spoke is a different part of your life. You've got health, you've got finances, you've got education, you've got environment, you've got family, fun, all the things, right, that make up you, your life, your business. Which one of those is out of alignment, right? Which one of those is out of alignment? Whatever that is, that's what you need work on, right? And that's when you get clear on that one thing and you're able to express that to who you're meant to serve, then it's just going to line up, and that wheel is going to be equally round, and it's just going to start rolling, and the people are just going to start coming to you. So think about that when you're creating your packages, when you're creating your story. What do you want the people that work with you to gain after working with you for X number of days, X number of weeks, X number of months? What is it that you want them to walk away with saying, you know what, I really gained a lot of value from her, and here's what it is. Da, 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 da. That's how you kind of come into alignment with your purpose and what you're there to teach them, right? We're all put on this earth to teach somebody something. That's just, I have a heart of a teacher. So we're all here to teach something. Knowing what that is, getting really clear about what that is so that you can express that to your audience, that's when the magic happens and they just start rolling to you and they just start like throwing money at you like, yes, I will pay you whatever to work with you because I need the solution that you can give me. And I love that part of it because it just solidifies everything that you were put here to do. It just all comes together when your audience can walk away knowing that you were literally the catalyst to help them get to the other side of where they're wanting to go. Coach LaDondra.
Ditto, ditto, ditto to everything that you said. The only thing that I will add is that the value of what you have to offer your ideal clients is embedded in your unique gifts. And so many times we are running away from our gifts and we're striving for another training or another trend or another prescription when the prescription has already been prescribed and you have the answer on the inside of you that's going to solve the problem, the most pressing problem that your ideal audience is having. And you'll be able to, once you take some time and you stop striving and you understand what are those gifts, how can I monetize them, and how can I be effectively in communicating them, that's when you will start to draw people to you and people will start to understand the value of what it is that you're offering. Another way of saying that, the payoff of what it is that they get when they start to work with you. People make investments because it's something that they're needing. It's not, sales is not about a manipulation. Sales is about offering a service to somebody that they already want. And most times, the way that when we talk about story, the way that we're positioning our story, our offering, our method, and all of that, people can't see themselves in it enough to be able to discern what is the payoff for me. Why does this matter to me? What's going to be the value that my family is going to experience in exchange for whatever it is? And so when you can get that clear and you can understand what your gifts are and how to express them into the marketplace, then everything else, it just works itself out. And I know that that sounds so simple, but which it is when you're working with a team of experts that know what they're doing. We and team LaDondra Hervey, we know what we're doing in that area. That is our gift zone. That is our grace zone. And we're experts at it. I can say that because that's what God has graced us to do. Not only will we help you to understand those gifts, we'll provide a structured system to help you to understand how to get that out into the marketplace with your operations, how to create time expansion, because most of us are saying, hey, I don't have time. And so I can't do this. And year in, year out, we continue to repeat the same year over and over again, not understanding that if we start to create a new awareness of where we are in our gift zone, then that's when we can start to step into a next level, a new level. Behold, I am doing a new thing. How can you behold something when you're something new, when you're so constrained with the old? When you work with us, we start to teach you how to expand in your mind and in your time, and how to really be effective in expressing your gifts out there into your marketplace. Then we don't stop there. We teach you how to step into your brand authority. Who am I as a brand? How can I be the one that is that lighthouse in my industry. That goes beyond just another logo. It's about creating a foundation and a expert positioning that draws people to you. And then again, look, we still don't stop there. We teach you how to scale your money mindset, because you can't grow past the money mindset that you have. So if you're always thinking, well, I have to choose between this or that, you're always going to be in a battle, well, either poor or rich. I love that Steve Harvey said that the poor will always be among me, but I don't have to be one. Point, you get to choose. You get to choose. The poor may be always around me, but I don't have to be one. God gives us the desires of our heart. And so if you're desiring a new next level, it's for a reason. And when you win, the other people who's watching you on the other side, you give them permission to win as well. I was just at a conference and I was talking to this woman. I had no idea who she was, but she shared her story with me. And then she asked me to share my story, and I shared my story because I don't just share about the good things. I share about the whole thing, because that's part of my authenticity as a brand, is that I want you to see all of me, because if you can see that it's possible for me, you will see that it's possible for you. And what happened is that she said at the end of our conversation, thank you for sharing your story, because you just gave permission for women like me to be able to find and discover their purpose, and know that it's possible for them to break their generational cycle, know that it's possible for me to pass an inheritance to my children, and that I don't have to stay stuck in this place that I am. That's what happens when you step into that next level and you get so clear, you scale past your current situations, and you're not so distracted with your now, and you're able to tap into God's next level for you. Then when you do it, you give other people permission to do it on the other side. So you were given a gift to be a gift. It's not just about you. When you make it about you, you're robbing somebody else of the blessing of your story. You're robbing somebody else of the blessing of an experience, of the problems that you have been divinely enabled to solve. So it's your responsibility to get out of your own way and allow that next level to come through you. And you can do that by partnering with us through the Generational Wealth Codes method. We would love to have you in this 90-day program. 90-day programs that's going to accelerate you into your next level. We don't play games. We don't sell hype. We are about transformation. When you come through this program, you will be fully transformed to be the woman of God that you've been called to be. You are worth the investment of investing in you, because investing in you is investing into the next generation. When you can break free into another level of freedom, you're breaking your children free into another level of freedom, and you're breaking your grandchildren free into another level of freedom. That's in identity, that's in wealth, that's in spiritual overall well-being, and understanding your divine position, your divine authority, your divine gifts, your divine power, and you will stop being powerless. You will stop showing up in your business as a powerless player, and you will realize that I have been meant for greatness. And with Christ, nothing is truly impossible. So all you have to do is go and register at the link. I'm going to get ready to get off so I can prepare myself and reset for our class, because it's happening in the next 15 minutes. So go ahead, and that'll give you some time to go ahead and get registered. Coach Dawn, I'll let you wrap us up.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all, this has been amazing. Lot of wisdom bombs thrown off in the chat. So, ladies, thank you for joining us today for the Lunch Bites. We'll be back again next week for the next Lunch Bites. But in the meantime, y'all, it's not too late. Go ahead and click that link. Get registered. Come join us. 1 o'clock. We're, like she said, in the next 15 minutes. If you've gained any value, I'll put it like that way. If you've gained any value from this Lunch Bites today, like Amber said, tip of the iceberg, just the tip. So we're ready to go deep with you, give you more so that you can then go and serve the way you're meant to serve. So ladies, we'll see you at 1. Hopefully there's the link. Go sign up, get with us, and we'll see you. We'll see you then. Bye.